Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. My name is Bojana Milosevic and I'm branding coordinator here at Devana, so we can discuss later about our company. But today we have a great speaker. Here with us Nina Woss. She's a principal actually at Speedinvest. So thank you for coming and thank you for taking time for this.
Thanks for the invitation.
Okay, we can start. For the beginning, can you tell us something about your childhood and what is your best childhood memory?
Oh my god, yeah.
That was not so long. Yes.
Sure,
Okay, great.
Fine, yeah. So I grew up in Austria, on the countryside, very close to Czech and Germany actually, in Upper Austria. In a very small town with just 1,000 people living there. So we spent a lot of time actually outside. I have one younger brother. We have a very small family, so it was mostly the four of us, my parents and my brother and myself. And one of my favorite memories is actually connected to my grandparents. We spent a lot of time there during the summer, and their house was even more remote than our own house, so that it's almost in the woods. And so we spent a lot of time there in the summer outside, just playing in the wood and building stuff like little houses and then waiting for animals to come, which we never knew actually if they had come overnight or just if our grandparents had actually just changed a little bit and to make us happy. And so it was, so my brother and I still talk about that time because it was just amazing summers and just being kids and playing, and this is, something that is just a nice memory.
Okay, great, thank you. Where did you study?
So in high school I had a very broad focus on the one hand natural history and biology and chemistry mostly, but then afterwards I enrolled at university in Vienna, so I moved to Vienna after high school.
And stay there?
Yes, and stayed there until today. And I enrolled in business administration, international business administration actually for my bachelor studies, and with a focus on marketing to some extent. And then afterwards, so during my bachelor's, I did 2 short stays abroad, one in Indonesia and one in the US. Both of them very impressive, but the US one I liked a little bit more, but mostly because of also the course I did there. This was my first touch point also with entrepreneurship. And then afterwards I did 2 longer internships, one in the US and one in Canada, both related to cultural management. And after those internships I came back and studied my master's degree in strategic management, again at the same university in Vienna. And there I graduated with
Okay, and what teacher maybe in school made the most impact on your brain?
That was probably our class teacher, as it's called, so the teacher that accompanies you for 8 years during school. He taught us math and physics, and it was just his approach that actually everybody can learn a certain topic. So, of course, in school, math is sometimes something that everybody's afraid of, and it's supposed to be really, really difficult, and only the very best ones can really manage it. It's totally stupid at the end of the day, but and he had the approach that actually, with if you want to learn it and if you get it presented in a way that you understand it and that you want to understand it, then everybody can do it. And so actually, the pupils that learned math with him were far better than the rest of the school. And this is definitely not because we were more bright, but because he had this approach that made us want to learn it. And I think you can take this approach and take it for many different things in life. So it's the way of how to look at stuff and how people present things to you. And I think this was really impressive. And he also cared a lot about people and tried to understand certain people and why they are not good or very good at things. And spent also some time with the persons behind the bigger bunch of classmates.
Is that the key of success for you or no?
Yes, it's definitely a point, yeah. So spend time on the people, try to understand them, on how they look at stuff. That's of course important when you look at startups and their products. if you just put a product out there and wait for people to buy it, and then you're surprised that nobody is actually using it, maybe the product is still good, but you did not really market it in the way that they realized that they might use it, or you just have to change a certain thing, and then people get it. So there's lots of areas where you can actually make use of that approach.
Did you do any internship before all this?
Mm-hmm.
You were a trainee?
Yes. Yes, at Speedinvest I started as a trainee, as a summer trainee. Before Speedinvest I did several internships. Yeah, I worked at university, I worked abroad. So it was many different things. So on the one hand in the music industry, so I was a contributing editor for a music magazine, and still am today, but of course with a lot less articles I write. I did, I was teaching assistant, several things. Some of them I liked more, some less, but each of them I took away at least something that later on was useful. And I met really great people that then also brought me forward in thinking about myself and how to relate to stuff and to people then afterwards. Yeah, and with Speedinvest it was a summer training program where I joined for 3 months and still during my studies. And then afterwards they asked me if I wanted to stay with them part-time for doing research on the startups that applied with Speedinvest for funding. And I stayed because I liked the team, I really liked the approach that they were taking. And after 1 year I graduated from my master's degree, and then I joined full-time as an associate with the fund.
You are part of Speedinvest since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe that path?
So in 2012 when I joined, Speedinvest was only 6 people and then 7 including me. They themselves only had founded the fund 1 year before, so they were still in the phase of actually getting up and running. So they had this 10 million fund, which they had raised by private people in Austria mostly, and also some in Germany. And they invested mostly in Austria back then, but also already in some of the neighboring countries. And so when I joined, our main question we thought about was, so how can we get more outreach outside of Austria? How do we get to know the interesting founders? How do the really cool founders really want to work with us? Back then we had only 6 investments when I joined. Today we have 40. And so it's of course a very interesting journey we took there. And so after the first year, when I then joined as a full-time member, we already knew that the 10 million would soon be spent. And then we thought, okay, what are we going to do now? Are we going to raise another small fund? Because if you look on a broader level, and especially to London or UK, or of course to the US, 10 million is not a lot of money. But so we said, okay, what are we going to do? 10 million is not a lot. Do we want to stay the same and just do it over again like in the first fund, or are we going to try to do something bigger? And then we said, yeah, it would be really nice if we could raise 50 million. Maybe we can do that. And then back at that time, it was now 2 years ago, the fundraising climate was really good. And why was that? That was because the interest rates were low. Actually, in Austria and the neighboring countries, there are a lot of wealthy people actually out there. And to some extent, they do not really know what to do with their money. Because of course you can still buy more houses, you can still buy more funds in the classic sense, or gold or whatever, but you never really see the impact of what you're doing there. And so with the thing that we are now offering the investors is that they can actually see what happens with their money, because they can see our founders of the startups. And it's a huge impact that you can do there with actually relatively little money. So if you invest in our fund, you can change lives of founders, and hopefully then also of more people as the startup grows. And that's actually one of the reasons why people gave their money to us. Of course, you should never forget that they also want to earn money, and that's okay. But there is also a very positive reason behind their flying clusters with their money. And so we were able to raise far more than 50 million euros, so we raised more than 90 million now. And that's now the size of the fund, so it's closed. And about 1 year ago, we started investing this 90 million. And we are investing all over Europe, but with a focus on Central and Eastern Europe. So we did, for instance, investments in Slovenia, in Croatia, in Hungary, in Bulgaria, and also a little bit more in the north, so in Estonia and in Finland, and also, of course, in Germany and the UK, and one in Turkey. But that was more an opportunity investment than really focusing on Turkey. And so our goal is to find the most interesting founders in the region. And what does interesting mean? So we focus on technical founders, because we think that in this region here, there are so many great minds, especially at the technical universities, that are ready to found a company, but they are just lacking some things. Of course, they are lacking money, and most of the time they also lack this business knowledge. As many of them are first-time founders, it's of course very tough to do everything the first time. And if you really want to think on a bigger level and a more international level, it can be somehow overwhelming to take a company from Croatia and tell them, oh, then we are selling to the whole world, or hey, we are going to send you to the US, and then what happens there? And we do not want to leave them alone, but we really want to help them. So besides giving them money, we also invest our own human resources. So this means that together with the company, we identify their gaps and their needs, and then help them on certain topics. So this could be fundraising, this could be entering a new market, going to the US, because we also have a small office there with 3 people working for us full time and for our companies. This can be especially also in recruiting, because it's really tough finding the perfect 3 people working for us full time and for our companies. This can be especially also in recruiting, because it's really tough finding the perfect sales guy, the best CTO, whatever, and then also growing the companies. And so we really take a very broad approach here to actually help startups.
What is the procedure for applying for that fund?
So you can apply any time. We do not have any admission dates. We do not have a program as such, so you do not have to move to Austria or anything. You can stay where you are if you want. We would help you to move to Austria if you want to, but it's not necessary if you want to work with us. So you can apply any time via email, via website, or if you meet us at an event, talk to us, and then we'll follow up. Then our team looks at the idea, at the materials you sent us, you provided us with, and if the team considers it interesting, we meet the startup. We invite them to come to Vienna to do a workshop together, to get to know each other, and to find out if both parties are interested in working together. As we are very much focused on the founders and their personality, it's very important for us that we trust each other, and they of course trust us, and that we can really see ourselves working with these people for several years actually. And after this workshop, if it's interesting for both sides, then negotiations start. And yeah, if you're lucky and we are lucky, then we get to an agreement, and then we start working together.
Okay, you're responsible for cleaning startups like Grizzly, Paybrush, and like that. Can you describe me that power and how you feel about that?
Yeah, so what is really interesting, so I'm in the consumer division within our team. So this means I look mostly at B2C startups that apply. So we are 4 people in the consumer cluster, and every week we sit together and discuss the startups that we find interesting at the moment and share ideas, and if we agree that it's interesting for more than one person, we meet them. Yeah, so if we then finally decided after the process that I've just described, that's the time when we then agree on the projects we're doing together. And so, yeah, for the companies you now mentioned, so for Flavia, for instance, it's a Slovenian company sending spirits basically to the whole world. So you could order a gin tasting pack there and try out new gins that you maybe wouldn't have discovered in a normal liquor store. So for Flavia, I did marketing in the German-speaking area for almost 2 years. So what we thought about how to tackle the German-speaking market, what messages actually to give to the target groups we identified, what media partners we could work with, but really then also down to what newsletter texts were sent out. So for several months, I just every day wrote a newsletter text on some rum or whiskey or gin, which was really interesting. And so that's the operational level that we are really getting involved there. But then, of course, it goes also to a bigger strategic level where we are now, at the moment, deciding on what to focus on next in the US, or where the product development goes, and what we are going to do in the next 12 months. So it's very much case-dependent. For Playbash, for instance, I did something totally different. I wrote a grant application for them, applying for several €100,000. So it's really what they need and where they think I can help them, and where I know that I can help them. We agree on certain things, and then it's always you really get into the product and into the startup almost as if you were a team member yourself. So now I really know everything about children and toothbrushing. So that's a very special topic. And about alcohol, obviously. So that's the cool thing also about the job, because on the one hand, you are almost a part of the startups, but at the same time you have so many different teams you're working with, and lots of different insights, but then you can also help people where you've already learned a lot of stuff that might be better to change things, or how to combine stuff, or interlink people, businesses, and that's what really makes me happy.
You also wrote a text, personality lesson book for girls, is it right? Can you tell me something about that? You wrote with your colleague.
Yeah, that was still at university, so we did a paper on entrepreneurship and how actually founders' personality influenced success of the startup. And the findings, they were very interesting, because every VC and also we say that founder's personality is the most important thing, but it's really hard then to tackle it on a scientific level if this is really true, and especially what kind of traits are the important ones. So the finding of the paper was actually a very so we could not find any truth you could now say that is scientifically true, but at the end of the day, it's the founder's personality that's the most important thing to build a team, and then it's depending on him if he can actually build the team and get people to learn and to grow, and also accept that people are growing and that he's not the only one, but accept that you need more than the founder team to actually grow it big, and also to share the responsibilities, and also share the success then. And it's not only depending on the founder's person, but how he interacts with his team afterwards. And that's something we definitely saw in real life. But everything else is just too... I'm not sure if you can really measure it in a scientific study, let's put it that way. And of course, people are not always most honest in those kind of questionnaires, or maybe questionnaires are also not the best thing to measure it. Maybe you would have to watch people over a longer period of time. But at least it was a start to get a little bit into the topic of how personality influences businesses. And yeah, and that's definitely a thing we see every day. And also a criteria on which we test if we think people are capable of things or not.
What's your biggest competition? Your company or your as Nina Woss?
Yeah, as a company, it's competition. I mean, yes, then it's other funds, but at the same time, you always need other funds anyway, and they need us to co-invest, for instance. So it's only in very rare cases that you really want to be the only VC or that you want to push somebody out of a deal. That is actually not the norm. Normally you are happy if somebody else also wants to invest, because that of course proves to some extent that something is interesting. And for me as a person, yeah, competition. Yeah, the thing is, I think I've learned in the last years that it's not good to measure yourself against other people. At least it's not good for the way I think about myself and how I think I can grow. But also that's the thing, if you want to grow, you have to think about yourself and how you yourself are maybe hindering yourself on actually getting something. So I don't think that there's somebody else out there who takes away stuff that I should have or I'm supposed to have. But I think it's myself that is sometimes not taking an action or is not brave enough or should have done something else or should have acted earlier or different. So I don't think that other people influence.
Okay, but you are 27
Yeah.
and you're a principal at Speedinvest. What is your next move?
Partner.
Okay, great. Or maybe start your own business, or no? What do you think about that? What do you think about startups?
Yes, starting an own business is the way that actually some of my colleagues do. So the people that are not at Speedinvest anymore left Speedinvest because they wanted to found their own company. But I for myself almost feel like a co-founder of Speedinvest anyway, as we raised the second fund together. And at the moment there's just no way I can imagine myself outside of the system because I want to grow Speedinvest. And even though I'm technically not the founder, I still share the vision to this, yeah, in every thing that I'm doing and that I want to achieve for myself, of course, but also for the company. And so for me, the vision is to grow our company, and at the moment not to found something else. But if I would found my own company, it would probably be art related. Yeah.
And now, who is Nina Woss in real life? Can you describe that? Can you describe you or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm very active, so I like trying new things. I like trying, so on the one hand, work-related new products, and that's why I'm focusing very much on the B2C angle, because I just like the point of view and also interacting with customers, with potential customers and users. And besides work, I enjoy art a lot, so when it comes to music, when it comes to theater, contemporary art, going to museums, exploring cities.
You have time for that?
Sometimes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, that's also the reason why I'm still discontributing editor in the music magazine, because I just love to produce stuff. So I like writing stuff. I'm a hobby photographer, so mostly enjoying analog photography at the moment. And you can combine those things, you know, you can take photos at a concert, you can go on a trip, explore a city and enjoy art there.
And be a principal.
And be a principal at the same time, yeah, and not sleep a lot. And besides that, yeah, I'm a very social person, so I like doing stuff with my group of friends, also when it comes to traveling. Yeah, and food is definitely another thing I enjoy.
Okay, what do you think about remote work?
It's not my preferred work style. I have seen in the last couple of years that I'm the most productive when I'm with my team. I really enjoy sharing experiences and also just taking a break and talking about a thing that is bothering you at the moment, and yes, also sharing personal stories, having somebody when you go to lunch. It's just so much better to really get to know your colleagues and share experiences also in addition to working together, because it makes working together easier. And it's also, there's more room for creativity. If you just know, remote work, okay, we have this Skype call brainstorming session for idea XYZ, you can do that and you will probably have some results. But maybe if you're sitting together over lunch and then you have this idea that maybe just popped out because, I don't know, you are at this special cafe today for the lunch, and it's much more enjoyable, this form of work. And I guess that's also interlinked to me being a person that actually needs other people to exchange ideas, also as a sparring partner. I'm really not very good in working on my own all the time. So I just do not enjoy it.
Before this interview, you told me that actually you're laughing all the time. What is your motivation to do this job?
The motivation is to see the founders succeed. So on the one hand, you see them really struggling a lot, of course, because this is seed stage and so many things are not working. Things do not go as they were planned. Money is not enough. This important client did not sign. This investor jumped off. I don't know, the CTO leaves. Horrible things happen all the time. But still, they have the courage and the energy to continue and to work on the product with their motivation, their team, our help, other factors that are influencing them. And then the best thing is actually if you see that they are succeeding and that they are moving forward, and also then to getting back the results and feedback where we really help them, and to see when they change lives, their own lives, but maybe also those of their customers, and that can be really powerful. Also on a very small level, where it's just one or two people that are actually experiencing something special, but also on a broader scope. And to know that I am in a company that actually enables that, and also within our team actually makes things possible that I wouldn't have expected a few years ago, that I wouldn't have thought are possible, and that just also amazes me, and that makes me very happy and also very excited to go there every day, again and again. And that's the reason why I said I didn't want to found my own company.
What was your strategy for hiring new employees?
Yeah, we hired a lot of people. So yeah,
Now
we
you're
grew
around
from
20 people.
yes. Now we are 20 people, and so in the last 2 years, 13 people joined our team, which was quite a ride. And the strategy is to hire for people that are actually more intelligent than you are, which is really frightening in the beginning, but it pays off in the long term. But it's not only about the intelligence, but also the emotional intelligence of people and the team fit. Because overall, we are very different people, so everybody has different background. Also when it comes to age, we have people up to 50 years, and then a 21-year-old assistant. And still all of them can talk to each other and can sit side by side at a team event or at lunch and talk to each other and like each other and actually have something to say that is more, than, the weather is nice today. So to experience that and to share this feeling, this is the most important thing that we're looking for when new people join. So before we hire them, we try to get them to join lunch or to share some drinks, just to see and how they behave, how they also feel, how we feel with them, and that's always very eye-opening. And at the same time, it's also important to give some room to the people, because especially when in our team there are many people that have been entrepreneurs themselves, they're very experienced, they are used to being the leader, being the only one that actually is able to influence things. And now all those people should work together in a team. This is not always easy, but when you try to accept this and to grant some freedom for each character, and at the same time have a certain level of respect, then it's actually working out. At least at the moment, and I hope it stays that way.
So, what was your scariest moment and what was the solution? Hiring some smarter people.
It's probably related to the hiring thing, to be honest. To know, especially for me, I mean, before that I was the youngest one in the company, and also when it comes to levels, so everybody was either a partner, then there was me, and then there was the assistant. So if you know now that people will join on my level, this is of course scary. I mean, of course you think, okay, what is happening to me then? Is there going to be competition or is it going to be good? But then I was part of the team that was actually hired. So we were 2 people interviewing, one partner and myself. And this was a very, very interesting process, and we found awesome people. And now I'm just happy that they are here, and it works out really good because we have defined very clear roles, so there is no question of competition or we don't have to be better than the team member, we have to be better than the outside world, so the whole team has to perform better. And all of us are incentivized on team-wise and not on the single person's level. And I think that was the solution to the challenge that we had there. And now I would be devastated if one of them would leave, honestly. So they are just amazing. And it's so cool now to work also with a bigger team, because you can do so much more, obviously, and also to have new views within the team. That can be challenging and interesting, but I think in the long run it's really going to be the solution also to bring us forward, because only a very small team is then also limited, and we've known each other for such a long time that groupthink is probably a bigger threat than we are aware of. So with the new faces in there, it should be good.
And what challenges you're looking for in your position?
Well, the challenges that I have now is finding the interesting startups to work with, and then once to be invested in, like Flavia, Fritzi, and actually really helping them, not only saying that I help them or believing it myself, but getting the feedback that, okay, this was good to have you there because, and then also having this, it's almost like, this external validation that the model, what we are doing here, actually makes sense, and that the reason why I'm at the company is not only a reason I made up in my mind, but it's really truly existing out there, that I'm moving those people forward, and I can give input that they do not get somewhere else, and that's the way how I can grow myself. So to help them more and on different things and additional things, not only being the person who does a nice claim for an email newsletter.
Okay, what do you wish you had known before you had started work here at Speedinvest?
That I do not have to worry so much.
Really?
Yes. So I think, I sometimes worry about the tiniest details, which is of course nice if you have somebody that is very detail-oriented and also perfectionist at some level.
That is normally because this is started like a startup and you rise after that, so I think that worries are normal actually.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. So I always thought, okay, everything is so frightening, and do we really, can we do that? Is it allowed? Is it possible? And now I know that, yeah, actually you can try a lot of different things, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to try stuff. It's also okay to say, yeah, that did not work out. And if you learn from it, it's fine. And so there's no reason to be afraid of many things. So of course you have to be aware things can happen, and we should not forget also about possible negative results, but trying things and also accepting that failure is part of the process, that's something I really had to learn. That was very difficult for me.
What do you feel most proud of?
Yeah, really achieving this position in this time frame without ever having been at another VC before or in a startup before, and getting this positive feedback from the founders and from our team, and the trust that I really can work with those startups, that I can actually fly here today without anybody asking why isn't another senior team member coming here. But it's totally clear that yes, it's me that I'm invited here, and that I have something to say that is hopefully interesting for people. So and that's an achievement I'm proud of that.
I have some funny question for you.
Yeah.
If your company were a Hogwarts house, which one would it be?
We would be Gryffindor.
Explain, please.
So definitely not Slytherin because we are nice people.
Okay.
Definitely not Hufflepuff because we are intelligent enough. But also not Ravenclaw because we are not those super high intelligent people in the ivory tower. No, we are Gryffindor because we are people and we really want to work together and help each other and improve ourselves. And yeah, and you know, to be the Hermiones and the Harrys and the Rons in the Star Wars world. Not the Draco Malfoys.
Okay, thank you. This is a month of women entrepreneurship, so do you have some message for us?
Yeah, definitely. So there are not enough women in the startup ecosystem. I'm always wondering why. And I think the message is very much connected to one of the fears that I actually mentioned I had myself. It's really just try stuff and also say yes to opportunities. So do not overthink things and do not think that you're actually not able to do things because A, B, C, D, but really trying stuff. Without overestimating yourself, of course, there are always some boundaries and some challenges and some things that you're maybe really not able to do, but focus on the positive things. And this is there are so many things you can accomplish and you can try and you can contribute, and especially in the startup arena, there is so many young people, open people, and things you can try, and also trying stuff in a new way. And if you find the right co-founders or the right team to work with, it's also a place where you can grow and maybe grow even more quickly than in other industries. So I think it's far easier actually to get the CEO of a startup than climbing the ladder in a corporate area. But of course there's less security there. But if you try it and jump into the cold water, it can really pay off. Of course it's not for everybody, but that's life. And also not everybody likes, I don't know, pink dresses. But they're still out there. So why not more female founders? Would make me really happy to see also more female founders apply with our fund. They've been working in startups. That's a vision for the next year, so to say.
Okay, thank you. I think that actually our guests have some questions, so you can start.
Yes.
A question. At what point
Okay, you can. Sorry.
at what point do you actually start considering startup? At what point of development?
Seed stage, and with us that means that the product is already built.
Okay.
Depending on the industry, so if it's B2B, it could be still in beta phase and you have 1 or 2 bigger clients testing it. If it's B2C, you need to show us already some traction. So some projects before they come to us have been founded by business angels, some are bootstrapped, some already can live from their first revenues, yeah, and then we invest up to 500,000 euros.
For the equity?
Yeah, for equity, and we take up to 20%. Yeah.
And do you have some kind of, let's say, preferred fields?
Yeah, we have 3 focus areas. First one is financial technologies, second one is deep tech, so core technologies, and third one is consumer technologies.
So never mind whether the companies from stays in the country or goes abroad, and if it goes abroad, means that you also help it with administration and all the stuff that goes, or
So it really depends. We have this office in the US, so we help companies move there, but mostly also with contact, so we do not go there and do all the legal stuff for you, but we help you and we know the people that can help you do it. Within Europe, we would trust on you doing that. If it's in Austria, it's of course easy for us because we know all the relevant players there. And yeah, and besides that, so we only invest in European companies, so we do not invest in companies that are already in the US, for instance, but we help them expanding there. So some of our companies are actually already building subsidiaries in the US, and I think we want to move there.
thanks.
Hey, Nina. So I was wondering about Speedinvest in terms of deal flow. Are you predominantly investing in Eastern Europe, or it's more like Austria and Germany? And in that sense, also, like, how would you compare the other Eastern European startups and the startups coming out of the Balkans? Because I'm guessing there's some difference, and you guys really have experience with that.
Yeah, we invest all over Eastern Europe and Europe. So historically now we still have a little bit more Austrian startups than from the rest of Europe, but of course we know the people there and it's easier for us. Yeah, the Balkans and Eastern Europe, there are some differences there. Yeah? So what I've seen now in the last year, I traveled a lot in Eastern Europe, and we are focusing at the moment on Bulgaria, Slovenia, Hungary, Slovakia, Croatia to some extent, as we, from our point of view, think those are the more developed ecosystems in the region. For Serbia, I have met a lot of interesting founders in the past months and weeks. Interestingly enough, there seems to be some kind of upturn at the moment, and I'm not sure if this is just my personal point of view because I met more people, or if it's really the case, so we can talk about that maybe later on. But what we see, of course, is that especially in this region here, the founders are less experienced. Many of them are doing it for the very first time. They need help with different things that maybe the German founders or the Austrian founders do not need help anymore. But at the same time, we saw that in the last 4 years, Austria developed so much and so quickly in comparison that we think that also for this region it can happen a lot in the upcoming years. And of course, depending on the one hand on the successful startups that come out of the region, because I think that the most important thing is startups that have already done it and founders that are from the region, and that can then give you the also the motivation that yes, it is happening here, and it's possible to do it from here, and you don't have to move to Berlin to do it, and you don't have to go to the Silicon Valley right away. It's also possible to achieve it from Serbia, to achieve it from Bulgaria, or from Vienna. Because until recently, also Vienna did not have that many success stories, and now we have 3, 4 really big cases, and they give a very positive spin to the whole city, so to say. And I think that's one of the most important factors in growth.
Well, here we are in Devana, so that's an example. But also, I was wondering, so you mentioned that when you just came, there was like a first fund of 10 million, and then you closed the second fund of 90 million. So Speedinvest just has these 2 funds.
Yes.
After that, nothing was raised, or?
No, now we are spending those 90 millions in the next 5 years. And this means that in around 3.5 years we are starting raising the third fund.
Okay, so you're not fully deployed, it's just starting out.
Exactly. So we started investing it last year in February, and still have 4 more years to go now when everything goes according to plan. And yeah, then we are going to set up the next fund that is hopefully even bigger and can cover more regions and maybe also more topics. We'll see how that develops, but yes, that will be the vision.
Cool.
Scully?
Yeah, so you mentioned, 10 minutes earlier, so that, you're actually willing to consider startups that are B2B and still in the beta phase, right? And what kind of business development plans are you requesting on the application? And what kind of business development plans are you actually searching for? Like, are you willing to invest in something that doesn't have, margins of profit in the first 2 years until it gains momentum and so on?
So what we are looking for, so when it comes to material, you don't have to send us hundreds of pages of your vision. No, we need to see the prototype or the product, depending on where you are at the moment, and we need to see a pitch deck of explaining your vision, who you are, why you are doing this and what you want to do and what you want to achieve and what do you need the money for. So those are just several slides and we are going to look at those, and if this gets us interested, we are meeting you in person and then we can talk about the more specific questions we have and the additional materials we would need. If you come to us and want to get funded by us, you need to be able to make us believe that you can actually realize your vision. So, and that you really want to scale your business. Because sometimes there are also just funds that come to us and they have really nice products and they say, oh, I'm already happy if I have the small amount of clients in my region and then I'm fine. And that's cool because that's nice and they are growing a nice business, but that's no easy business there. So you need to have this bigger vision of achieving things and going global, being able to scale your product and your idea. And if you believe that you can do this, then that's the first step that gets you closer to an investment. And this prototype, this is of course difficult to say now what we really want to see there, but then we are going to ask, for instance, your first client or the people you are prototyping with about their experience and if they really buy your product. So we are not only talking to you in the process, in the due diligence process, but we are also talking to your potential customers, to your potential partnership firms, to really get a feeling for the market. We have to have the impression that the market is big enough for what you're doing and that the market is ready for your product or needs your product or your idea. That's what we are looking for, to get this positive feedback, not only from you and your team, but also externally.
That's the research part you mentioned you were doing.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Goran from MBG team. We're developing some e-commerce and doing internet marketing. But I want to ask you, I'm a member of Business Network International. It's about 2 million members. And we start to work on some project in Western Serbia. We want to bring some investors to Serbia, but we also want to offer successful business from Serbia, which are successful in Serbia, to investors from abroad. So, what do you think about it? Is it startup for you if some business is successful inside some country and want to, to go to world market? Is it startup for you or not?
That depends a lot on the industry it is in. So Yeah, you would have to show me some examples of companies you're working with. Yes, it's good to find a company that has already some proof point in a certain market. If it's really scalable, you have to look at it then. Because if it's successful in one market, it doesn't mean you can scale it, or maybe the competition in other countries is already too big and it just doesn't make sense to go to other countries, or the product is very regional and it's not needed.
Some
But
simply depend on culture.
yes,
Difference in culture.
there are several things we have to look at, but yes, we are looking at digital startups in the very classic sense. So we do not invest in any industrial companies. We do not invest in hardware. We do not invest in anything that is not part of the 3 areas we mentioned.
Yes.
Also because we only want to do companies where we actually have some info and background and knowledge on. And as I said, we work so closely together with the companies. We cannot do that, of course, if we do not know the industry that they are working in. It just wouldn't make sense for both parties. And so if we do not have the feeling that we really know the space or want to get to know more about the space, we do not do the investment. But that does not mean that that's not an interesting case. So that's very specific then. But yeah.
What are the most interesting startups in your portfolio that came in recently? Like, what are you excited about that you just recently invested in and it's kind of exciting market?
Yeah, there are a lot more. There are some, so on the one hand we have some very technical companies in the deep technology division. So one of them is DataPath, a company based in Germany. That is actually rerouting internet traffic on the fastest route, so to say. So DataPath makes your internet more quick. So that's a very high technology team, only tech guys in there. Really interesting to work with them because they are so different to all the companies that are actually in my closer portfolio. But they have the potential to really go international, so that's very exciting.
And they sell to ISPs, or was the revenue model?
No, they sell to companies like Zalando, for instance.
Okay.
So to companies that have huge traffic on their sites. So it could be Netflix, for instance. Yeah, it could be those esports companies or big e-commerce companies, for instance. But they are really exciting. Then we just today closed a really cool investment in fintech in England. So they want to revolutionize student banking. That could be really big, also on a global scale. And they have a very young founder that is just impressive. He's so young and already is talking to all the VCs out there and is so authentic and at the same time self-confident and really amazing, and he does all of this for the very first time and gets the attention of everybody and still is a very likable character. So that's people you don't meet otherwise. So that's also exciting on a personal level. And yeah, besides that, the Croatian company we recently invested in is also nice. They're called Amodo, and they are doing a new kind of insurance product for cars, so that actually your car insurance depends on your own driving behavior. It tracks the...
Cool.
Yeah. So if you are a careless driver, you have to pay more. But if you are really a driver that sticks to all the rules, doesn't go too fast.
Here in Belgrade, that doesn't work.
But it's a European company. You know, the Croatian drivers also not the most.
It actually guarantees the profit. Because
Yeah, that might be true. That might be the reason why they invented it. Yeah, and yeah, they have the device and the connection to the.
OTP port in the car.
Yeah, and then the insurance is going to get less or more money depending on how you drive. I think that, especially in the insurance space, there are so many things you can actually revolutionize and build interesting stuff. even though insurance as such is for me a very boring topic, I have to admit. Same as banking, but still there are so many things you can do and so many teams that are working on new products and new ways on how to look at stuff and how to change whole industry, and that's of course very exciting. So the most boring topic can actually get a nice twist if people look a little bit closer and think of new ways how to do things. So yeah, you see that there's a lot of different things we're looking at, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Cool.
Thanks. Two questions.
Yeah.
One, you're capping your investments per company up to 500K.
No, we also join in follow-on rounds.
Okay, so
for
the first
series
tranche is 500K or less.
up to
Up to
500.
500.
Yeah.
The second thing, what is student banking?
This product is focused on people that actually go international to study, and then it's sometimes very difficult to open a bank account in a foreign country. And they are making this really easy and getting people on the very first hand when opening a new bank account, and then they are building on the fact that you want to stay with them afterwards because
PayPal.
no, it includes everything, also a card, and also if you want to rent a flat, for instance, in the UK, you often need a local bank account because otherwise the landlords won't give you, won't rent out to you, or if you want to pay electricity bill and stuff, you need a local bank account, and they are doing this online. It's a new kind of product, so it's not just another bank account because yes, it would be very boring. It's nothing new. It's a fully new product, and on the way they are doing marketing and get to their target group. This is a new approach, and on that they are going to build.
Do you have any company that deals with blockchain technology?
Not yet. We've been looking at blockchain companies for 1 year now, I think. And with none of them, we really had the impression that either we really understood it, yes, we also had to admit that, or that we really believed that they can achieve what they were promising. So it's a very difficult space for us, I have to admit. We are still looking at the space, and we have not given up. But yeah, we do not want to do any investments in companies where we really do not understand what they are doing. So.
So what is actually, going from that question, what is the level of, let's say, the risk you're ready to take, since the blockchain is something new, and you have not only, I mean, the Ethereum, well, Bitcoin and everything is quite new and unknown. It's only 1% of the whole industry.
Yeah.
But how much, I don't know, what's the risk you're ready to take in order to invest in an individual startup?
We would take the risk because at the end of the day, every startup investment we do is very risky. Of course, e-commerce is more easy to understand also for my grandpa, but it's still risky. But with Bitcoin and blockchain and Ethereum and things, it's not only that we did not have yet the full understanding, but it's also that no team was until now able to really convince us. So that goes hand in hand. So if a team is able to convince us about what they are doing and where they are heading and what is actually happening in this space, then we still might do an investment there.
What convinced you? I'm sorry for going to the
No,
details,
please.
but I'm
Yeah.
very curious about
What convinces us? So it's the composition of the team, what kind of people are doing this, their skills, are they complementary, what are they lacking, what have they been doing before, how do I feel when I meet you? So, and also if I see you and your team members, how do you interact? Do I really trust you guys, that you understand each other, that you respect each other, that you really work with each other? Then, of course, second one, product, obviously. So product and the vision of the product. Where can this go? what do you want to achieve. And the rest is then market and financials. This is just the small points you're looking at. Of course, you have to check it, but that's something you can work on. New product, they have to be convincing. And we also have to have the feeling that you really want to work with us. And it's not only the money you're looking for, but that you really trust us to also work with you and respect our point of view as well.
So it's going to have one workshop or take some time, or how it goes?
Mostly it's at least one workshop, and then most of the time you meet each other again for negotiating the contracts. Yeah, always depending, of course, where you're based, so we don't force people to fly in every week because this just doesn't make sense in times of Skype and WhatsApp and whatsoever. But then afterwards, if we really work together, we meet the founders also regularly. So on the one hand, we visit them because we also want to see their teams, how they are working, where they are actually based, their surroundings, what's going on there. And then we also have events where all of our portfolio founders participate in order to also foster the exchange between the founders, because this is one of the most valuable things. Now we have so many interesting people already in our portfolio, and bringing them together can produce really cool things. So now we have 40 companies, and already now we see so many positive effects of those people working together and knowing each other. So also people using each other's technologies and products, and already at the small size of 40 startups, that is not that much if you compare it to a bigger ecosystem, but still it's already enough to have people to learn from each other, help them in recruiting, and also the most basic things, and also really the more educated matters that you come across as a founder.
You just need to apply that if you know all the details.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
I have just one question. Dana, can you define the percentage of the successful investments in like your portfolio, not just yours, but actually the whole fund?
So the whole fund has until now a very positive result. So we already had 6 exits.
Is that something that you're looking for?
Yes, definitely. So in the course of a few years, we want to achieve an exit. It's necessary for us in our business model, and we also invest only in founders that have the vision to grow, and it doesn't have to be a quick exit. You don't have to sell to anybody, but if you tell me that I want to have my company forever and I want to give it to my grandkids, then maybe you're not a venture case. But it's not quick and dirty money, but at the same time it's yes, we want to sell after a few years. Yeah.
Or
Be
IPO.
district.
Or an
Or
IPO.
IPO, that would of course be, let's see where Speedinvest goes and where our companies go, that's IPO, yeah. Maybe we do a Speedinvest IPO. But yes, so after several years, it's definitely the goal to exit the company, and we've done it 6 times so far, which is very nice, especially if you look at the small size of the first fund. And all of the exits are, of course, from the first fund, as the second one is so new. And of the 20 investments we did with the first fund, only 1 is not existing anymore. Then we have the 6 sold ones, and the rest is still active. Some are doing better, some are doing worse, but everybody is still alive and kicking, which is really nice. And also is, on the one hand, for us the proof that we did something right when we looked at the people and at the business models, but of course not all of them are going to be those big success stories. Some of them will just keep existing on a small level, have some revenues, but will never be those big Facebook cases. But we hope that at least one of the existing ones that's still in the portfolio will be a small unicorn, so to say. Yeah. yeah, and for the new portfolio companies, you really cannot say anything. So everybody is working on their things. Obviously, they still have money because we just invested recently. Hopefully, nothing tragic happened. Some have very positive traction already after a very short time, and in many cases, as I said before, there are so many things that happen along the way that you did not expect, that nobody expected, where they need help, where they change their business models also sometimes. That's also normal. That's not always easy, of course, but yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully it stays that positive. But I'm sure that one day, I hope it's still far away, that some 1, 2, 3, 4 of the companies will have to close down because that's just probably part of the startup business. But as soon as you know the people, of course, it's difficult to imagine for any of them that this might happen. But we'll see.
What happened to the one you closed already?
Yeah, that was unfortunately the product just didn't work out. So the market just didn't need the product. There were too many people focusing on that space. They had to, step by step, had to let people go, tried to change the business model, but also this did not really get any traction. And so month by month, somebody left or had to be left off. And now even the founder left, but the company as such still exists, and somebody else took the place of the founder. So there is still a CEO in the company. That there is this 1 or 2 clients that are still there, and they are still working with them. But it's more or less a write-off. And so it's actually not a total crash yet. But I guess it's not going anywhere.
I think this never should actually start because of the clicking this. So I'm inviting you to enjoy the view on our terrace, grab some snacks and drinks. So thank you. I have just one message for you. 10 or 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So explore, dream, discover, just like Nina, and maybe you can apply for this fund. And thank you for taking time for us. It was a pleasure to host you. So I'm inviting you downstairs, and we can continue actually this networking.